All right, we are on air. Happy New Year, everybody. It is January 5th, and we're going to do a check-in on design-related tests for Backdrop CMS.
I lost Jen.
What?
Okay, you're back. Yeah, you were breaking up for a minute. Keep going.
We're going to talk about the new homepage design, which we're hoping to have ready the same time as Backdrop 1.6 is released. And then we're also going to talk about a bunch of features that we're adding to 1.6 that might need another design or user experience review between now and release date. So backdropcms.org homepage. Wes, it looks like you've made a ton of progress on this. I looked at your pull request this morning, or your diff or whatever it was that you emailed, and I got all excited, but then I just really wanted to see it. So Nate, Wes had asked how we go about using the dev site, and I didn't even know we had one, so I can't answer that question. I think we're going to need you to tell us where the server is and how to get access to it, if you want to throw Wes's key on there.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of getting a SSH key on there, and that should pretty much be it. It hasn't been used anytime recently, so it'll probably need, database updates and code updates, and well, of course you'll do that, but it'll require some work to actually get it going, because I don't think it's been used anytime recently.
And is server the live site's on?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so we'll need to get you a new database dump.
Yeah, actually, we might have spun this down. So we might just need to clone the whole server all over again or something.
Wes, do you want to talk about your design stuff at all? Homepage stuff?
Oh, Jen or Wes, you're muted. Homepage stuff. I think.
Sorry, homepage stuff. In air quotes, because it's actually pretty much the whole site. So yeah, okay. I think I have all these up now. Okay, so this one we looked at. Nothing's really changed. I haven't styled this section because we talked about changing that potentially, but I can style it if we decide that we just want to get the site up. That's fine. I just thought I'd wait for that. And then these probably look a little better than last time. So this is all, cleaned up. Modules, this hasn't really changed. And themes, same thing. Layouts, pretty much the same thing. News, I updated a little bit. So I found an issue in core, in basis in core, that iframes were able to go outside of their parent container. So added a quick CSS rule for that, and also have it here. And then I added little user images, and I thought it'd be cool to kind of mimic the logo a little bit and slice off a corner, kind of get that effect going. And otherwise,
we already have a user profile image effect. You're
breaking up.
I was just going to say that we already have a user profile image effect, and it's the circle that we have everywhere else. Maybe we should use the same.
Yeah, there weren't any other circles.
There's a whole bubble too around that image information. Like if you look at a blog post.
Okay. Yeah, actually, I'm not sure that I designed blog posts. No, I didn't.
So those are already done, and I think maybe we should just like recycle as much as we can.
Okay. So nothing crazy. I just made sure everything worked. I got rid of the gray background. I thought it looked a little funny. And I mostly started, it was easier for me to just kind of redo the layout and then see what was missing than try to migrate things. but yeah, depending on the page, some of these I just took CSS wholesale and it pretty much worked. So support page, I'd like to update this. It looks like it got updated on production, but I don't think I have it on what I have. So I found there's a cooler block for this. This is handbook handbook. So this is the book outline, I think it's called.
Are we supposed to be seeing something? I don't see. Do you guys see a screen share or something?
I do.
Oh, because mine just shows like blackness. Anyway, I'll just imagine all the things you're talking about, so don't worry.
Jen, if you click on
user guide is different than handbook. I think there might be a different like submenu thing.
Well, the book thing handled it for me, which is very clever. Okay. So I only needed one layout, and it picked the appropriate book outline to put on this sidebar, which is very nice. It did mean that I gave up control of this title. It would be whatever the book outline title is, but yeah, linked it and everything. So yeah, this is pretty simple stuff there. Handbook, simple stuff. Oh yeah, and I think I showed this off last week, the navigation here. And module page, it's pretty similar. I think I changed the border style to match. I also removed some cases of text transform uppercase. I find that's less legible. I tried to make those headings or whatever they were stick out in a different way. But yeah, if that's not cool, I can switch it. And then same here. I use that same style, but we can go to the circle if we want. And I might have already shown this page. Services. I just stole what was already made, basically. And I think, the edit. Yeah, so, I mean, that's whatever. We're missing one. What were we missing? Showcase. 1 second. Let me find a showcase page. Oh, shoot.
Wes, I think this looks really good.
Thank you. Do you know a showcase URL offhand?
I
had Best Boot Fitters open.
Yeah.
Showcase. There we go. I got it.
Hey.
Hooray! So I got this all working.
Great.
And stole all of the styles for this. Broken image. Chicken. That's awesome. Hi, chicken.
Aww. He's a handsome rooster.
If you can change his face to blue to be more backdrop appropriate, that'd be great.
Oh, actually, I meant to ask about that too. So we tried to move away from using blue as a color because Drupal uses blue. So if we could make sure it's like an accent and not a main color anywhere, that would be great. It's like the less blue, the better.
I see. So maybe not that.
Yeah, and I don't know how
I only used it
how that's going to affect the homepage. Like, I'm not sure the homepage will work with gray there, but just in general, like we don't want that confusion. So,
yeah, I like it for link and button colors just because.
Yeah, I do too, and I also like it. Like, I was looking at the homepage, thinking about. I'm so not a designer, but I was like, what if we just swapped the gray and the blue so that like, rather than having those like gray bands, we had like blue. Like, I think that might be the right volume of blue, even though it. Like, I'm not sure it doesn't look good that way because my brain doesn't work like that. But just like if it was like an accent color and not like a main color, I think the blue works really well with the grays. Yeah, so I don't know. I know it's kind of late in the game to be like, oh wait, we aren't supposed to use blue.
I don't think that light sort of blue is that bad. Like, I don't think anyone's going to confuse that with Drupal.
Okay. I mean, I can try out some things. If it's just that one image, it's gonna.
Yeah. It's
That's not bad.
not really about like confusion so much as brand. Like our brand is not blue. And so for have our homepage to be like the first color you see is blue, it's off brand.
Well, I think we need like an accent color. So if it's not
Yeah.
going to be blue, we need something else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally agree. And I think blue's fine as an accent color. It's just the volume. We need to be careful with the volume.
Okay.
And I did have a meeting yesterday with our brand guy, specifically around email newsletter stuff. He's going to write our newsletter content for us. But I also told him we were working on the redesign, and he offered to like, I'm like, we're close enough now that we can't like change really very much. But he offered to do a like review when we're done, and if he thinks there's like something little we can fix, like if he's like, oh, you know, this cutout image corner is way better than that horrible circle thing you were using before. Right. He offered to do a little review for it. So
Cool. Alrighty. Well, yeah, that's what I got. And
I think
yeah,
that's great. I love the module stages.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. Good job. I can see it now too, by the way.
okay.
I'm not just imagining it now and saying fantastic. It looks great in my mind.
Cool.
Yeah, no, this was good.
Yeah, I moved. Yeah, I reworked a couple things, but there's way less, I think, customization. I don't know. I'd be interested in discussing, like, or maybe it's just a blog article. How I put this together, like how I thought about it, because I think it's interesting to kind of have the multiple ways to go about and do something. It's a little different in Backdrop than it is in Drupal, obviously, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I would love to read that as a blog post.
And I think, yeah, doing this strengthened my opinion that I want to try and have a front end format that's a front end architecture that's more around utility classes than it is custom styling. I added, I don't know if you remember my utility class file from Basis that we removed. I added it into our sub theme.
Yeah.
And was using it, and yeah, I liked it a lot. But
yeah, I noticed that. It was one of the first things I noticed when I looked at your pull request. And I especially think that now that we have all these user interfaces that let people add classes, that's
Right.
going to be a super powerful tool for people who can't write the code themselves.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I was thinking that. And Bootstrap is a utility class front end architecture, so
Yeah.
it kind of the only thing that bothered me, and I tried to do it when we put in Bootstrap, but we ended up not doing it for good reason. But that it doesn't fit into a naming convention that most utility class architectures use, but that's fine. It's just a little sad. Makes my friend and architect a little sad. My inner one in my heart. So yeah, I'll add that blog post to the list of things I'm trying to do.
No rush on that. Sounds like a cool thought process that you got to go through, and it might be really useful for other people too. So.
Maybe I could just do a video. I think a video would actually be easier for me, and I can just demo it. Anyway,
I think
yep.
I might benefit from that. So.
Cool. Well, yeah. If I can get credentials to that server, or I could put it up on my server. I don't really care, and then we could get something for people to look at. This should only take me. I don't think it'll take that long. I could just take the. Well, no, I shouldn't do that. Okay, real quick. I was thinking we need another level of config. It's like local, then dev, and then prod. So otherwise, this is going to be very annoying.
In the repository?
Yeah, because I changed all of dev because that was all that was there.
Yeah.
So I was thinking if I move dev active to local active and then get checkout dev active from the master branch and then build dev and then import, it would be a lot saner.
So you can do that with, you don't necessarily need to have it in version control, but you can do that with your like local settings file. You can set up as many levels as you want and just change where it points. So if we can think of dev as like the deploy collection, like it's going to be staging when it gets on production, you can choose whether you want that to be your local live or not.
Well, then if local's untracked, then how would I get it to the next level of thing? Unless I make the dev server behave more like the prod server, and then it would be straightforward.
Yeah, that's a thought too. Like since it's a separate server,
Doesn't really matter.
we could just deploy to dev and then deploy again to live.
Yeah, it could be a better dry run too. Okay, I'll do that. That'll be easier.
Okay.
All right, I'm done.
And I would say because we don't have a server currently, do whatever is easiest for you. So like if it's easiest for you to just throw it on your existing server, just do that. And that way we can get it up and see it and not have to worry about like getting credentials or making a new Linode or doing whatever. And I'll just send you a new sanitized database as of today and you can throw that out there.
That sounds great.
Okay, just made myself a note to actually remember to do that. All right, I love it. I'm really excited. Thank you for doing all of the work on that. It's been fantastic. So other stuff we wanted to talk about today were issues for Backdrop 1.6 that might need a designer's feedback. And it looks like Nate's added a ton of them in here, which is great. The hamburger menu, I know, Wes, you wrote a bunch of code for this, I think for backdropcms.org. And we kind of stripped it back to what the Smart Menus library recommended, mostly because I couldn't get it working and knew that the recommended code worked. But I figured if we could get it working, we could put it in. But as soon as I'm like, it works, and like put it in, Nate's like, oh my God, it's ugly. So
The styling, that is. Yeah. Well, hang on. Let me screen share and show you what we're talking about. So here's the issue where we added hamburger styling, issue 2369, which you can see is marked as fixed now. But here's the end result is that when you configure your block, there's now a checkbox here that says display menu toggle button on small screens. Menu toggle button, okay. And the end result is actually really nice. Like I really like, so this is on this block here that is home and about. And as you get smaller, you know, now, yay, menu toggle button, which is great. A huge improvement, actually, being able to have that option without needing to do any additional work. And then this menu itself, of course, is the you know, hierarchical menu thing that we have. That's, if this were hierarchical, it would expand and contract, you know, individual items. The biggest thing that needs design help on this actually is the placement of these, what I would call secondary links, is now, because this is not a menu block, well, and even if it were, it would be very strange to have two collapsible menus. So just our default styling here regarding like, you know, the primary menu, which its stuff is now hidden, and the secondary menu, whose links are now, you know, getting the focus. So
part of that was that was really hard to get worked out for backdropcms.org.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I ran into making Basis was when I tried to make the header really slick and cool at every breakpoint, it was too opinionated and hard to override.
Mm-hmm.
So this will take some thought work to like come up with something that's better, but also like not annoying to sub-theme.
Yeah, at least initially, you know, this header menu right here, the my account and log out, is actually part of the header block, which means that at least relating to the site title, the logo, which I don't have turned on right now, and these links, we can move them around relative to each other really easily, at least.
Yeah, I really wish that when you went down, those would appear above the logo. Like
these links, the My Account and Log Out.
Yeah, because those are sort of like session-y things, and almost seem like
What do you mean above the logo?
like you know where it says backdrop right now, like it appeared above that.
Hold on.
But then that might, if the back, is the backdrop thing supposed to be like a tag or something like that? Or
That's
like, what
supposed to be their site name / logo.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, up here. Yeah.
So it's like, so My Account and Log Out were above that and maybe stayed over to the right or something.
I had a design for something like what you're talking about on the org homepage. I'm bringing it up right now. That could work. Share my window. Oh, Photoshop sucks, so I gotta share my whole screen. All right. So this box up here, so having that treatment instead might be kind of cool. But that we might have to finagle the markup.
Well, I mean, okay, so this is, and I think I created an issue for this. I mean, what I would love to see is for the admin menu to be able to be displayed even if the person's not logged in, and instead of displaying all the drop downs for the tasks, it just displays the login information. Or just creates, or just has, if someone can't do any admin tasks, all it does is show that stuff that you have in the thing there. So, and make that all part of like the admin menu toolbar thing. So, yeah, that would be my preference. And then you can just turn that on and off too. Like, should, like, some sites want people to log in, you know, they just like enable that. Some people don't. They just hide it for non-admin users.
Or not anonymous would see like a login, like instead of this.
Right.
Yeah, and then you could just disable anonymous from being able to see admin menu.
Right.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that seems like the easiest thing, because like because like lots of sites have login and stuff like that, and like I feel like the current design has come up limiting. I don't know. It's almost because then when people log in, that admin menu then just becomes like all the other stuff too. So it's like not jarring that it suddenly appears.
Although, if it, the one problem with that is if they wanted to make that top bar look like their site, admin menu theming would be a nightmare. But
would it? Just to change like the background and stuff?
I mean, what if they wanted to lay it out differently, or like they didn't necessarily want it to look like a bar? So we might just need to like have a recommended alternative path if you want to do something more custom.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they can always, I mean, we can always leave that. Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of different ways we can handle it, but I mean, like for most of the sites that I would build, like that's sort of what I would want to see. It's like sort of the behavior by default is just showing the admin bar with just the login information, login links to start with.
Yeah, I'd have some reservations about that approach. Just that the admin bars right now, it's like literally administrative, that it makes it so it's like as a themer or as a site builder or whatever, you just don't worry about it. It does its job and it's purely functional, and it's not really relevant to the appearance of your site. But if we started displaying it for everybody, anonymous users included, assuming that that the site wanted to allow anonymous users to log in the first place, it starts making the admin bar into being kind of a user bar, just like for everybody to use, and it becomes a part of the design of your site, which I would be worried about.
Well, I mean,
It's a little weird when you have like if the majority of your users are not admins, where it's like they have their own things they need to do that are not administrative tasks. Like you have a community site, which is the majority of what I build. There's usually only one admin on the site. You're now taking something that's really not important at all, which is this admin bar, and you're throwing it in the face of everyone on the site, where what they really need are links that are customized for them. And because the admin menu is something that you aren't supposed to touch, you're going to get people throwing all sorts and kinds of stuff in there that's going to like break weight, and it's just going to be kind of a nightmare in terms of taking something that right now is kind of an afterthought, where you don't design it, you don't change the content, where now everybody's like, I want to put stuff in there for my users. And you're like, no, that's not for your users, it's for your admins. It's kind of a weird, like...
Well, I mean, like, it's a content management system. Like, I think everything in the user bar should be for managing content. So it's not only for
Right.
admins, it's for anyone with any role that allows them to manage content.
Right, and
So,
if the majority of the people on your site don't do any of that, they're your users, they're your site visitors, they're your customers, they're whatever. They don't have any responsibility on managing the website, but they still need to log in, and they need their own tools. Like, oh, I want to manage, my list of stuff, right? Where maybe it's stuff they're buying, or it's comments they're posting, or whatever. Like, that's not a management task. That shouldn't be tied to admin bar in any way.
Okay, well, this is sort of something I need for my site, so I'm going to try to build it in Contrib, and then maybe we can take a look at it and stuff.
I also think like there are a lot of good Contrib solutions for the kind of stuff you were talking about, Wes, where like you want your login links to like not necessarily be a bar or not be on your page. Like maybe you want them elsewhere. Like there are other not in Backdrop necessarily, but there are other like Contrib solutions for like things for your users, which is something to think about too in terms of like how do we need to handle designing the header region. It's like, well, if people don't want that thing there, they'll probably install something else. So I don't know.
Yeah, I loathe the menu that's in the header block. It just makes a lot of things difficult.
Yeah,
But-
I loathe it too.
I mean, from a core theming perspective, it gave me a lot of headaches. But I mean, yeah, that's maybe a different conversation for a different day. But yeah, maybe I'd be interested in helping out with the bar thing at the top
Okay.
in Contrib or whatever.
Cool.
Well, we lost Nate. But yeah, it looks like he fixed. He was also complaining in the menu collapsey issue that like the word menu was too close to the hamburger icon, and it wasn't like vertically aligned. And I'm like, it's fine, just put it in. But it looks like he fixed it anyway. So like we can fix it next week. He's like, no, I can't look at it like that. So less of a problem there, I guess.
Yeah, it looked like you took the animation stuff from my CSS, right? That menu button.
I don't remember what is left of your CSS and what's not.
Really
there
looks like
is-
it.
The
Yeah.
JavaScript animation is back in there.
Okay.
So your
yeah.
CSS might be there too, and the JavaScript might just be winning. But we should look at the CSS and
I mean, like
see-
the hamburger icon turning into an X. Like I think that's me.
Oh, that came
and then
from
the
the recommended CSS from
Oh,
the
really?
smart menus too. Yeah.
Hmm.
Or, I
Wow.
mean, I don't know in this particular case, like whether that's your CSS or their CSS, but I know in the Contrib module that I wrote, it does that same thing, but I just stole their CSS. I didn't write it.
Yeah, the only reason I brought that up is I made the word menu line up with other things in backdropcms.org very specifically. So yeah, it probably wouldn't make any sense anywhere else.
Anyway, I would recommend someone who knows what they're doing looking at the CSS they got in and seeing what state it's in and if it needs improvement. I also changed some of the breakpoints that you were using so that it's kind of more in line with where the rest of Bootstrap breaks, which might not be the right place for the menus to break anymore. But I was having a really hard time reading the rems or whatever, so I swapped it out with I put like comments in there, like what pixel width I thought it was supposed to be at. But
Yeah, the basis README has everything listed in rems and pixels. FYI.
okay,
I keep that open a lot. But I wrote this in an issue somewhere, but the menu going to responsive mode can be, or going to hamburger mode can be dynamic with JavaScript, but also have a non-JavaScript fallback. And I'd like to do that. And it should be core worthy. That would be ideal because you don't know how long the menu is or what else is in the menu, how much space it has. So like,
Yeah.
there's really not a good default.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Like admin menu, right? Where it runs out of space, it collapses.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
That's like, okay. It looks like there are 2 other 1.6 issues we should talk about. One of them is the template styling for comments.
Can that still get in?
I don't know. It's tagged for 1.6. Nate put it in here. I guess it depends on what we change. Like if it's a style only thing in Basis, I think we probably can do it.
Okay.
But if we have to change any markup at all, it would be a definite no.
Okay. I found that we're using the header tag incorrectly on comment, but
in core.
yeah, it should be footer because of what's in it. The name is misleading, but because it is at the top. But that's not a big deal. It just makes my inner HTML nerd
Yeah.
a little sad.
I don't know how we feel about that. That's pretty substantial in terms of like if anyone's themed it, it would break if they use the tag.
Yep, I know. I put in the issue so that I don't forget about it. But that's the only thing I could think of that would like.
One thing we could do is override that template file in Basis and put the correct usage in there, and that way, if anyone's making a Basis subtheme, they get it right.
Yeah, it's not even. It's like I don't think anyone's going to notice, and plus, most of the internet's using the footer tag wrong, or the header tag wrong, so it doesn't really matter. It's just be nice. But no, I can. That's the only thing I could think of that where I'd have to change markup. Is what I meant to say.
Okay. Well, let's create an issue for that for Backdrop 2 anyway, so we don't forget it.
I did. It's out there.
Fantastic.
There's an emoji of a nerd glasses on those issues. I have a couple of them.
Great. And then Basis logo problems. This is the get image size thing, which I think we've sorted.
Yeah, I have no idea what, like, Herb Duel had a suggestion. I was like, okay, that works. I don't know. And then he had a better one, and I didn't update the PR. I don't know if Nate did or Herb did or what.
It looks like that's moving forward. I don't really understand where we are, but we'll let they seem to be fixing it, so we'll let them keep working.
That's definitely not design.
No. And then we did completely change around the manage display page in Field UI to add view modes. And so I would just recommend anyone who hasn't taken a look at that lately, like give Backdrop Head a look. We had like a 300 some comment issue and went back and forth and tried a whole bunch of different things. And I think we've arrived at something where everybody who was participating in the issue is kind of in agreement that it's good enough. Nobody really loves it, but it's Field UI. We know it's going to get some love here in the future anyway. But I would say like there might still be some terminology things we want to fix. Like I would love to change the term view mode to display mode now that it's on the manage display page. But we'll see. That's going to be messy because all over the code it's view mode. And so you're going to have this big disconnect between the user interface that says display mode and all the code that says view mode. But I think that that's also something we could fix in Backdrop 2.
Yeah, and I think that, yeah, I mean, I would say the audiences are very different for those two things, and that anyone who's actually going in and, you know, messing with the code has has to learn more things than just like, oh, these things are the same. That display mode is a view mode. I think like, I don't think that's going to be the big stumbling block for people to suddenly start developing things.
Right, especially in like, rendering entities in different ways. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. Okay, so I'm going to revisit that issue. I did a pull request before we changed the UI around a lot, and there were a ton of like code comments and stuff too, which I actually thought was helpful because of the code comments, like use whatever view mode, and then in the code it says view mode. If we change it to say use display mode, that'll also train anyone who's looking at the code that there's.
Yeah.
All right. And then there's another thing I wanted to ask Nate about too. No, he's not here anymore. But the message style stuff that Wes and I were talking about recently, where like Basis overrides the message styles, but it does it by overriding this horrible theme file in core that's like system theme CSS that contains everything. But when you override that file, and that file has like relative links to images in it, you have to replace the CSS for those with more relative links to images. And that's really tricky in themes, because then when you sub-theme, all of those image links are broken. So it just became kind of a nightmare to just make message styles not broken in a sub-theme. And so I know, Wes, I saw you create an issue for that initially, and then I created another one later, or it's just like, how do we make this less horrible? And the conclusion we came up with is that message styles shouldn't be in a CSS file that everybody wants to override. Because
what are we talking about? Messages? Are we talking about the actual notice, like you've successfully saved your node?
Yeah,
messages?
Like a Drupal set message, a backdrop set message thing.
And the images are the little icons?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we were to separate out the message CSS from that theme file, the system theme CSS file, then people could safely override all of the CSS in system theme without breaking messages. But moving that CSS from that file to another file this late in the 1.x cycle is likely to affect, every site running backdrop will have that change. The question is, like, if somebody deliberately overrode that file and now we've moved the CSS out of it, they're not going to have overridden that CSS unless they specifically overrode those selectors, which could be fine. I mean, I tend to think that people don't override messages very often. And when they do it very deliberately. It's not something people usually do by accident. And so I think that even moving that CSS around isn't going to hurt existing sites, even though it might affect them. If anything, it would like bring back, oops, I broke the images and didn't notice it.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my thought, is like, it's kind of not what we're supposed to do, but I think it will help more than hurt.
I'd say we might want to try making that change, but maybe not do it for this release. Maybe put it in for the beginning of next release so we can at least
Test
see
it.
how it like works with our dev sites before it goes to,
The only downside to that is that this is the first release we're doing that's after Basis. And Basis, right now, if you make a subtheme of Basis, your messages are broken. And so I think if we can fix it before people start making too many subthemes of Basis, that will be a better experience for those people. So that was kind of the only thing where I was like, we need to fix this right now. But then at the same time, I'm like, it's kind of, the best possible fix isn't something we would normally do mid-cycle. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence where it's like, I feel like, if we're going to be making risky changes mid-cycle, like the sooner we do it, the better, because we'll be affecting more people the longer we wait.
Yeah.
Message. Okay. Well, that was the only other thing on my 1.6 milestone that was design related. Oh, maybe we should talk about, maybe this isn't something, we can talk about this in the next meeting, but dropping IEA support, like, I think we've all decided we want to do that, but we need to figure out how.
Well, we just have to be lazy and not do anything.
That's what I was thinking. Let's just say we're dropping support for IE8.
Um,
And then we can clean up all the code in Backdrop 2, and we can not do anything like from now forward. Like we don't have to test IE8. We can write better CSS, but like if we just don't clean up our mess until Backdrop 2, I think that's the safest thing.
I think Mate mentioned there was like one thing. Might have been like a shim or something.
We have a shim, but I'm nervous about removing it in the middle of the cycle. I think we just leave it.
Yeah.
Leave it
Okay.
alone.
Well, I liked the idea of having a contrib module that had legacy support, and that way other people can, if they find a bug with IE8, they can put it in, as a PR to that. And then whoever needs legacy support, they have a project they can, add onto their site or whatever.
Yeah, I like that too.
But yeah, if that's not coming out anytime soon, then I guess I know there are things in Basis that already aren't IE8 friendly.
Yeah.
I could.
I think we should just say we don't support it anymore, and then we don't have to worry about it.
Okay. I was thinking I could just like hide those things or something, in a style sheet that's in that legacy module or something. Because like it's the icons I made with CSS. Those just totally don't work.
Huh.
They'll probably just look like total crap, like weird rectangles.
Which ones were those?
So the hamburger menu is probably one of those. There's a couple others. I think if there's a search glass in Basis, I don't think there is. It might be any use of transform just doesn't work in IE8, and I put a bunch of transform in there.
Okay.
Basically, not thinking.
Okay. Well, I think that's kind of the goal, is like we want to not have to think about it in the future. And maybe we should say, like Basis doesn't support IE8 or something. Like that might be a good.
Yeah. I agree.
And then we just won't put anything crazy in core. And like
Just use Bartik if they care about that stuff.
there you go.
Right.
Perfect. And then we can remove Bartik and back to 2. Okay, well, let's bring that up again at the next meeting, just so that everybody gets a chance to talk about it and see if we're all on board. But okay, let's see this meeting. Anything else we should talk about? Kind of almost out of time.
We talked about a lot, so.
We did. Good talking, guys. All right. Well, let's wrap it up, and we'll see you guys again in 10 minutes or so.
Cool.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.